The Bogey Beast. There was once a woman who was very, very cheerful, though she had little to make her so, for she was old and poor and lonely. She lived in a little bed of a cottage and earned a scant living by running errands for her neighbors, getting about her a served there as a reward for his services. So she made shift to get on, and almost looked as bright and cheery as if she had no one in the world. Now one summer evening, as she was strolling, full of smiles as ever, along the high road to her home, what should she see but a big black pot lying in the ditch? "Goodness me!" she cried. "That would be just the very thing for me, if I only had something to burn in it. But I haven't. Now, who could have left it in the ditch?" And she looked about her, expecting the owner would not be far, but she could see nobody. "Maybe there's a hole in it," she went on, "and that's why it has been cast away. But it would do fine to put a flower in from my window, so I'll just take it home with me." And with that she lifted the lid and looked inside. "Mercy me!" she cried, very amazed. "If it isn't full of gold pieces, here's luck!" And so it was a brimful of great gold coins. Well, at first she simply stood stock still, wondering if she was standing on her head or her heels. Then she began saying, "Lawks, but I do feel rich. I feel awful rich." After she had said this many times, she began to wonder how she was to get her treasure home. It was too heavy for her to carry, and she could see no better way than to take the end of her shawl too, and drag it behind her like a go-kart. "It will soon be dark," she said to herself as she trotted along. "So much the better. The neighbors will not see what I'm bringing home, and I shall have all the night to myself, and be able to think what I will do. Maybe I'll buy a grand house and just sit by the fire with a cup of tea and do no work at like a queen. Or maybe I'll pour it at the garden food and just keep a bit in the old china teapot or the chimney piece. Or maybe Cody. I feel that grand. I don't know myself." By this time, she was a bit tired of dragging such a heavy weight and stopping to rest a while, then to look at her treasure. And lo, it wasn't a pot of gold at all. It was nothing but a lump of silver. She started at it and rubbed her eyes and started at it again. "Well, I never," she said at last, "and me thinking it was a pot of gold. I must have been dreaming. But this is luck. Silver is partly stolen, easy to mine and not so easy stolen. Them gold pieces would have been the day to me, and with this great lump of silver." So she went off again, planning what she would do, and feeling as rich, until becoming a bit tired again, she stopped to rest and gave a look around to see if her treasure was safe, and she saw nothing but a grand lump of iron. "Well, I never," said she again, "and I'm mistaking it for silver. I must have been dreaming. But this is luck. It's real convenient. I can't get penny bees for old iron, and penny bees are a deal handier for me than your gold and silver. Why, I should never have slipped a wink for fear of being robbed. But a penny piece comes in useful, and I shall sell that iron for a loan and be real rich, rolling rich." So on she trotted full of a plan as to how she would spend her penny piece. Then once more she stopped to rest and looked round to see her treasure was safe. And this time she saw nothing but a big stone. "Well, I never!" she cried, full of smiles. "And to think I mistake it for iron! I must have been dreaming. But there's luck in it, and we wanted the stone terrible bad to stick open the cage. Am I? But it's a change for the better. It's fine thing to have good luck." So all in hurry to see how the stone would keep the gate open, she trotted off down the hill till she came to her own cottage. She unlatched the gate and then turned to unfasten her shovel from the stone, which lay on the bed behind her. It was a stone sure enough. There was a plenty light to see it lying there, stones and bezel as a stone shone. So she went over it to unfasten the shovel in, when oh my! All of a sudden it gave a jump, a screw, and in one moment was as big as a stick. Then it laid down for great lanky legs and drew out two long ears, nourished a great long tail, and rumbled off, kicking and squealing and whining and laughing like a nasty, mischievous boy. The old woman stared after it till it was very out of sight. Then she burst out laughing too. "Well," she chuckled, "I'm in luck. Quite a laxed party here, Bruce. Fancy my seeing the Bogey beast all to my life, and making myself so free with it too. My goodness, I do feel the uplifted. That grand!" So she went into her cottage and spent the evening chuckling over her good luck.